Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
I'm having some issues on StreamYard. Am I coming through on StreamYard piece right now?
Say something.
Uh, so you can hear me both on the computer and on the phone.
Yes.
Now I
Yeah,
need to hear
we can
you.
hear you. Did you
All right,
unmute me on Blog Talk? Okay.
Okay, let's see what we got. We good? Are we?
You're on. Don't
As
touch
it said,
nothing.
five by five. Don't touch nothing. Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
You're in.
I do what I can. MashaAllah. All right. So,
Inshallah.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Everybody, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa
Yes.
barakatuh.
Yes. Okay. I can't explain it. Over the weekend, I had three broadcasts on it. So two Zoom and one Blog Talk.
It was busy.
So I guess my wires got crossed. But let's stop talking about that. How you doing?
Alhamdulillah. I am good.
Yeah.
Just a lot of, you get a lot of messages throughout the day of what to do, when you're having those internal conversations. And so today was a heavy spiritual dialogue today. So,
is that right?
Okay. And part ways of like how I came across the podcast that I sent you. So it's good. It's good. I mean, this is the journey, right? Like it's good. But congratulations.
Now hold on. I don't know if it's you or it's me, but you sound a little distant from you. Do you have your earpiece and everything?
I do.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it on me. Go ahead, sweetheart.
Saying about that, I was saying that congratulations to you over the weekend. The acknowledgement that the community has surprised you with. So congratulations on that. Long overdue, yet right on time.
Alhamdulillah. Allah is most gracious, most merciful. Alhamdulillah. All right. Well, I'm going to step back and let you do you. All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله. Assalamu alaikum to everyone who is listening on Blog Talk and those who are joining us on the Facebook Live, YouTube for Wealth Creation Preservation. I pray that everyone is well. I pray that this changing of the seasons is still keeping us motivated and focused on the focus, right? I always give myself this moment on Mondays, especially in moving forward, to get prepared for today. And so I have been inundated with a lot of studying and taking notes and sitting with myself. And the last thing I didn't have a chance to truly drill down on right before we went live, I was listening to the first song that the Imam plays before we start, not the one that he plays right before Blog Talk. I think it's independence. Independence is because we play possibilities is the one that we play right before we go live here. And, I am a person of words. I am a person who I am always fascinated by language. I'm at a season in my life where I am fascinated by language and the way individuals use words, especially in the space of chronic learning, and for us as a culture, we have a tendency to create a whole other language out of words that is like only other people who are of our diaspora would understand it. And so the word that jumped out at me, and when this happens for me, when I'm paying attention, if it jumps out at me to where it triggers a feeling, an emotion, it's like, oh, okay, let's take a look at that. There's a verse where he says, if we support our true leaders and something, I don't remember it verse word for word. It's saying if we do these things, we'll have our dignity, right? And I was like, dignity. I was like, so the reason why it first jumped out at me is because today I've been on this conversation. We've been talking about marriage in our community, the value, the importance of marriage in our community. And I have been constant, like every parallel for everything that I have been studying has always been connected to plants. So I got a plant here. I have a plant that was completely, not growing, dead, brown, leaves weren't there. And I made a conscious decision to be like, I'm not going to throw this plant away. Like, I'm going to try to get this plant to bloom, because I've always used this language of I'm not a green thumb, and I changed my language about that, and I said I have to learn how to take care of plants. I need to learn how to take care of a garden. That's what I started to say to myself. And so now it has new leaves, and every day I go by and I smile at it and I talk to her, and I water her every other day. I'm really proud of this plant because it was gone, right? And in that is a lesson, right? So I pay attention to all of it. And so dig. So when I said, so dig, I was like, oh, okay, dig. Oh, all right, let me see what. And so the first thing I did is I just, so where's the word dignity in the Quran? So I punched it in there. Nothing came up for the word dignity. So I went to the English dictionary, typed in dignity, and it gave me other words utilized for it. The one that jumped out at me was majesty, right? I was like, okay, I know there's majesty is in the Quran somewhere, right? I typed that in there to see all of the areas where the word majesty was in the Quran. And when I put it in there and I looked up the root term for the word, and I'm just look at the screen. You can't see me. I know you guys can still see me, so my eyes are wandering because I want to pull it back up. That the root for it was Jim Dal Dal, right? Was Jedu for majesty. That was the root term. And it is also translated as new, right? And I was like, oh, okay, that feels good to me, right? So when I see some things, if I kind of like go ding, ding, sends me in these different directions on this road of looking for different things. If it doesn't quite do it for me, then I'm like, okay, put the note down. Maybe, later something else. There's still value there for it, but it was new, right? So when new came up, I was like, oh, yeah, we new Africa. We are a new, growth of community and Islamic understanding. We have a new language that causes to feel a level of independence, right? This is what the song is. And us finding the pride of being independent thinkers, right? Being thinkers as a group, but independently standing in the authenticity of who we are, knowing that what we have is valuable to the entire community. And this jumping out at me at this moment, I can backstep to the other pieces that I had been kind of placing together in this ideal of building. I've been watching a lot of rehab shows. My mom's a broker, but I just have been fascinated by this idea of these homes that lives have been lived in, and this the flip when they flip the properties. It's like it's an old home. It was created a particular way. It's just, so I'm just watching how they break the walls out, or they're seeing how certain things that were placed in there, someone took the shortcuts. They did it, because they didn't want to do it according to the rules. They put the wrong kind of wiring, or looked for something that was not of great quality. But on the surface of it, it looked good. But the moment you peel it back and you go into it, it's like it's rotten. You got the wrong kind of wiring. So now it becomes more expensive for the new owner in order to be safe in this space that they're creating, right? So like I said last week, we'll take you on a journey. I love this part. I'm taking you guys on this journey of my thought process, because I know that this will be an opportunity for the imam to give me some other tips and jewels. But also in my spirit, it was like, share this, just share it with the people, right? That this conversation of where we live, this life, this earthly plane, this marketplace that we call earth, our human existence, right? It's our home. This is our home. And before I came into existence, there's a great deal of individuals who took some shortcuts in the building of the foundation of this home, right? And those shortcuts are we are constantly in this space of needing to undo the shortcuts, because it was not done with integrity. It wasn't integrally built. It was the blueprint was there, and the blueprint was good, but then you chose to utilize components in order to hurry up and make something show up, and does not benefit those that came after, right? So now we're in this time where our community has laid a foundation, and some of us are used to what has been around in this earth planet, right? And then we had our experience with the Nation of Islam, the Nation of Islam experience, the first experience that had to undo some things, right? It was like we gotta undo some things, and in that undoing, a new people arose. Then in that, then there was some other undoing. It was only so much work that could be done. People have heard me say the cathedral, the cathedral mindset, that it will be a body of work that happens beyond your living, right? But you got to do your part with quality, with integrity, right? And in doing so, those that come after, they don't have to, like, we got this part handled. You build upon what we have already said, and it's solid. You don't have to rip the walls out of how this works, right? And so then in doing so, it is important for us to educate them on how to utilize the tools beyond our existence. That the way that we create and build a relationship with the Quran, the way that we interact with each other, that we are practicing this way of life when the foundation and the rules have been laid clear, right? And how we approach it and how we build with it, it becomes something that is solid. It is second nature. It's just this is what we do, right? It's not even second nature. It is our nature, right? Not even second, it's first. Okay. And so these parts of discovering and uncovering the things that we need to understand is about us showing up in the fullness of who it is that Allah created us to be. And the way to further like explore what that is the knowing of oneself. So when we listen to the recording that was shared, sometimes we could be chasing after a thing that is not authentic to who we are, and in you chasing after the thing, you're taking a shortcut. You're not laying the proper foundation for it to hold this home together, because you were created to be this, but because you're chasing after what someone else is doing, you're not holding your post. You're leaving your post, and you're leaving it to where the foundation becomes rocky. We see it. Like, I mean, let's just think about it. I mean, we see it how the media will create these ideas that are false and unnatural to us, or we see it in how, the political parties will be having arguments, and it'll be fair seeming in one way, but we have no real understanding, and then we're trying to survive in a house that is rocky, that is not properly formed, that does not have the proper walls put up to support the weight and capacity of what it is that we're supposed to be doing, and how we are supposed to be experiencing this reality, this earthly reality. And so I want to challenge us. I want to challenge us to seek to be new, right? Be new by paying attention to the leaders, right? The leadership that is available, because the leadership that is available, it provides a blueprint, right? And it's in that blueprint that we can continue on this journey of what it is that we do and how it is that it's done. And I mean, of course, with the example of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like, okay, like, how did he do business? How did he interact with his wives? How did he handle conflict? How did you, like, all of these things, right? So we've already established that the problems we're having are not new. It's not unique to who you are. There's a solution to each and every one of those, right? And that the answer is within the Quran, your answer, right? Your answer, so that you can be clear about your role, be clear about how you show up, be clear about not taking a shortcut, doing the work necessary in order to lay a solid foundation for yourself here and now. And you could take honor in showing up in the fullness and the authenticity of who you are, so that when that is established, those that come after, it's like, oh no, this worked for Camila. This worked for the community. This worked in this area of work. So let me see, what is that prescription for me that works, and in it working and me showing up in the fullness of who I am adding to the stability of this home earth, this human experience. I am adding to the stability, and I'm making it strong enough that those that come after me don't have to figure out something more than showing up and being like, oh, okay, I'm safe here. My nature is safe here. My humanity is safe here, right? And so now all I have to do is be stable in that, right? So when I look, and when I come back to thinking about my plants, one that's there and the one that's out front, that the environment, the soil, the environment had to nurture it to become, right? To become its fullness. If the soil is bad, the earth is no good, then that plant is not going to grow, right? So when we think about community life, that if the soil is not regenerating new life, right? If it's not regenerating new life that praises the one that placed us in it, nothing will grow from it, right? So we have to find the community life, create it Find the community life, nurture it so that it may grow, so that it may become its fullest, reach its fullest potential. And it becomes the example for those after, right? It becomes the example to say, oh, the possibilities that are available to me in this growing process is clear because the soil is rich, and it's rich with you in it, showing up as who you are. And then it becomes rich for those who enter it after you, right? We continue to grow and expand and build out our capacity to be able to support new life. So, with that, I'm going to call the man back into the room.
What's up, Shouty?
What's up, Baba?
You cut yourself off a little bit there. That's all you wanted to drop
I
today,
did,
huh?
sometimes when it's there, you just kind of go,
Yeah.
give them enough to sit with. So.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this. Show you how.
Yes. Come on.
I
You know
started
I
to.
like that. Go ahead.
I'm telling you. I started to text you earlier today, and say, look, I'm gonna need to ask you for about 5 minutes of your time because I got something I'm gonna bring. I know it's gonna take a little. I was gonna take a little. I just decided, nah, just let her flow the way she gonna flow, and then you bring whatever you gonna bring. Allah's in charge of everything. So
Allah
that's it.
is in charge.
Hey, those of you who are online, I'm telling you, if you have some now, this is no boast, and I know I'm putting myself out there on this because I don't usually do this. But if you know some people that normally check in with Fahim Shu'aib, you need to hit them up on the text right now and say, look, you need to be there. So something's about to go down. And it's about the information. It's not about, you go do something crazy online. But you need to text your phone. If you those people that you love and that you know feel Fahim a little bit, tell them, hey, come on, look, Fahim just said something and said, look, I'm just gonna hit you so it won't be said I didn't hit you. So I'm serious, y'all. So I gotta take advantage of this extra time that we have and go on with it, because this is really some of this that I'm dropping right here, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is no boast. I don't want to spoil it. But this stuff you're supposed to pay a whole lot for. What I'm about to talk about, something you're supposed to really, people pay 5 figures for what we're talking about. But I'm going to move on. And more. But alhamdulillah, hate to move out your beautiful face, but you got to go.
It's okay.
All right. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In fact, I'm going to do a double recording of this. So if it gets dropped on one, I'll have a backup on the other. And I'm making dua for Allah to protect me. Don't want any shortcomings. Don't want to be deprived of His blessings. And I want to be able to share what I'm feeling that I want you all to receive from what I'm sharing here. So, inshallah, we'll be able, by the grace of Allah, to come through on that. Greetings to all. So let's start with share here. And I play chess. You know that, right? Let's see. No, that's not the one I want. So let's kill that. Let's kill that. Now let's get back to where we want to go. Share screen. Yeah, that's got to be it. Alhamdulillah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. So, so the overarching theme from for today has been preach what you practice. Preach what you practice. It came from Sleepers for Suckers and that social proof. I think that's the name of the website and the like. And I just picked up. We only played. It's more than an hour in terms of the actual interview itself. But I picked up on the theme as Camila did. The idea of you have to make it short. Do you have to be where you are a natural, and that's just completely critical to this whole process, the process of success and generating wealth and the like. It really calls for you to actually make sure that you're doing what's true to your nature. So that's what we're going to be talking about. I want to raise up some of the things that we've already talked about from other presenters that we've had, and this underlying theme, and this is an arc principle here from the Quran itself. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. وَلِكُلِّ وِجْهَةٌ هُوَ مُوَالِيهَا فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ. It says, to each is a goal to which Allah is turning him, so strive as in a race towards all that is good. So this وَلِكُلِّ وِجْهَةٌ هُوَ مُوَالِيهَا it always reminds me, and it always says to me that everybody has a proclivity, a predisposition, a gift, something that is unique and something extra even that Allah has given everyone. It's a gift. I see this always, to each is a goal. I see that always as everyone has a predisposition, a gift, something that they're more inclined to, quote unquote, than the average in that particular respect. And so the best way to realize that, the best way to achieve that, is to strive for the excellence of that. Whatever the excellence of that is, I don't know, whatever your gift is, whatever that thing is that you feel inclined, predisposed to, that is good, you strive to excel in it. You strive to perfect it. And so we've had several presentations, and you just hear it all the time. It is a theme that marbles through anybody that talks about success and achievement and accomplishment, etc. This theme is always there at some point in time. It's about finding your purpose, finding your gift, to be, quote unquote, purpose driven. And in this is, I'm more focused on your gift as opposed to like a company or a corporation being purpose driven. If that company or corporation is born out of someone's gift and then they strive after the purpose that the gift brought to the corporation or to the company, alhamdulillah, then we're talking about the same thing. The idea is that there's an innate and inborn, how can you say, a cosmically based. When I say cosmically based, I mean it's like it's coming out of the matter in the nature of creation and is manifesting in the person in some way. That's when you're talking about a true gift from Allah. And that's what we should always be striving to discover. It's also said that you have to know what your calling is. You have to know what your calling is. You have to know what your call. And your calling, I'm saying, it means the same thing. It is that thing that you enjoy doing so much that you're willing to do it for free. But you do it so well, people are willing to pay you for it. If you found that thing, then you are perhaps in touch with the gift that Allah created you with. Allah created you with. God said, yeah, hey, take this with you. You coming into the realm of the three-dimensional domain of space and time, and you're about to enter into that space and time, and Allah said, take this with you. And what does he take with you? This gift I'm going to give you, this special talent, ability, proclivity, predisposition, something that will be useful for you and humanity. It will serve you, develop it, you'll get the benefit, but the main purpose of its development is to serve my purpose on earth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so we mentioned these two individuals, Dr. Myron Golden, Dr. Robert J. Watkins, and we covered several pieces from both of them. And it is from something that mashallah, alhamdulillah, this is no boast. This is something for 40 years minimum. 40 years minimum. This five principle approach to achievement has been just a part of my repertoire, being, belief, etc. forever. I pass it on to my children. It is bliss. Follow your bliss. Believe that God has given you a gift. Believe that God has given you. Believe me, brother and sister. I'm saying believe in it, even if you can't answer what I just asked with regard to, have you found that thing that you enjoy doing so much that you're willing to do it for free, but you do it so well that people are willing to pay you for it? If you found that, then alhamdulillah, God bless you. You have to massage it, which we're going to go on speaking about tonight. So good. But there's some people who not only have they not found it, but there are those who have not come to the point of believing it. I don't think there are many of you on this line who are not in that particular case. And as I'm speaking, as I invited you to invite others, I'm saying, especially if you have young people. I don't know. I've come to situations sometimes where it said, hey, look, frankly, I haven't had to do it per se, but I found other ways to reward young people for coming into something that they need to come into. So I'm saying to you, you might have a young adult, a young teenager, someone who's there, maybe they're in college or maybe they're just starting on a project or what have you. But you have great hope for them. You have great desire for them to be successful, and they're willing to hear you. They're willing to listen to you. They're willing to take a recommendation. You need to text them. You need to text them. And this is not going to be a habit of mine. This is just my spirit today. You need to text whoever, that college student, that youngster that's just started a new job, or they just started on a new career, or they're working on some project that they have great hope for, and you know that they're excited about it. You need to text them, say, look, you need to listen to Fahim. I know you got stuff done, but you need to come check out what Fahim is talking about right now. So do that, because I'm about to push on, and the water is going to get deeper as we go. But it's BLISS. Believe. Once you believe that it's there, then you have to locate it. And once you locate it, then you have to institutionalize it. And once you've institutionalized it, you don't just settle for institutionalization, or pardon me, you don't just settle for institutionalization. Then you specialize. You don't want to be an also ran. You don't want to be just, I do that too, right? Because that's a situation where you don't have a uniqueness, or even like the interviewed individual was saying, they say you don't have separation. You don't have separation. What distinguishes you from anybody else that does that too? If you can't find a distinction between you and everybody else that does that, then you haven't really specialized. Okay. But if you make it to that step where you are the specialist, you are the one that's bringing, quote unquote, the solution and the benefit to the market in that particular area. Okay. Well, then success is just the next step. Success actually is automatic. Every time I say that, I think about my brother in New Jersey. Success is automatic. Alhamdulillah. So the idea is that these are the 5 steps. This is the rule. This is the algorithm. Follow that and you'll be there. Let's move on. Now, here's where a big piece of what that I'm urging people to come and get a share of this morning. This is like, I'm just bringing the cake out. I'm just bringing the cake out, and I'm about to slice this cake. So the cake is on the table right now with this, right? Blog Talk, yes, there is a PowerPoint piece relative to that. I mean, the verbiage, it does get through, but there are pictures with what I'm saying. And the image here is the elephant and the rider. The elephant and the rider. I think one of the individuals, it's an ancient paradigm, an ancient allegory. When I say ancient, well, whatever. It's a Western classical allegory that's given. It's like one of those Plato, Aristotle kind of things in its origination. Nevertheless, but the idea is the rider and the elephant. Jonathan Haidt, Haidt, was one that most recently modernized and brought the idea back again and applied it to other things. So I just want to give credit where credit is due for the analogy. But remember this, where the Prophet says, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, it says the bit of knowledge is the lost property of the believer, and wherever they find it, they have more of a right to it. Okay, so, but I do give credit where credit is due, but it's my property too. So you have the elephant and the rider, and that elephant and the rider is used as an allegory to distinguish internal aspects of us as human beings, right? The rider on top of the elephant is like our conscious mind. You can call it will, you can call it ego, you can call it that one that when you say I, me, my, that's the conscious person, right? But that's not all of you. In this metaphor, that's just part of you. That's the conscious part of you. But then there's the unconscious makeup. Now that's the elephant. The unconscious part, that's the elephant. And what is it made up of? Your unconscious makeup is comprised of your history, your habits, your inborn desires. There's certain things that we don't consciously, we're not consciously aware of. They're not constantly in our experience, right? We're not, oh yeah. Sometimes there are things that come to our mind, we become conscious, but most of our life is in the unconscious region. So there's much more of us that is unconscious than is conscious. But they have to be taken together because we have our conscious makeup and we have our unconscious makeup. And the metaphor is the rider is the conscious and the elephant is the unconscious aspect of the makeup. Now, the predisposition, and this is a big word when I say big in the sense of importance and significance. The predisposition with which we are born inclines us unconsciously to a habitual way of being that is called a fixed action pattern, or modal action pattern. Both of them the same, excuse me. Excuse me. Right? So it's like everybody has a predisposition. Everybody has inborn inclinations of which they are unconscious, but they are habitual ways of being. Everybody. You can call them idiosyncrasies, habits of mind, predisposition, proclivities. Everybody has them, but everybody is not aware of what they are. That's a part of the elephant, right? But they manifest in fixed action patterns. They manifest in modal action patterns. And these terms are used to denote an instinctive behavioral sequence. It means it's just a pattern of behavior that's automatic, an automatic pattern of behavior, an unconscious pattern of behavior, a pattern of behavior that starts and completes. It gets, it's not my favorite word that's used in the world today, but I'll use it in this instance so to understand it, triggered, right? So it's like something triggers it, and then here comes the fixed action pattern. Here comes the modal action pattern, automatically responding with a behavioral sequence that is relatively, as the definition goes, relatively invariant within the species. That is, there are animals that are that way, human beings that are that way. There are ways that you expect. I think right now about how they would catch monkeys, how monkeys get caught in Africa. You've probably seen this video where there's two things. One is to catch the monkey himself, and another is to find out where the water is. Okay. One is like you put bits of food that the monkey likes, right? And you create this like breadcrumb, let's call it, pathway up to a jar with a with the neck and head of a bottle, right? And you keep it going, and then you put the last bits of that particular thing that you want, that they want, that the monkey wants, to go up there, and then the monkey sees it on the inside because it's clear like this glass here, and he reaches in and grabs the thing that he's been eating, likes it, he's eating it, he grabs it, but because his fist is not small enough now holding that thing that he wants, because his fist is not small enough to slip out of the jar and escape, it gets trapped itself by holding on to that, while the hunter that set the trap just comes and gets him. Why did he get trapped? Because he would not let that bit of candy, that appetite, that desire, he wouldn't let it go. And because he wouldn't let it go, he got trapped by it, right? And that's how it is when you understand the fixed action pattern, the modal action pattern of a creature, then you can manipulate and you can trap that creature on the basis of that fixed action pattern, that proclivity, that instinctual behavior. Okay. Well, if we as human beings don't control that within ourselves, then someone who understands our proclivities, our predispositions, they can manipulate and trap us in the ways that they intend to trap us. But we're going fully positive on this right here. So these terms denote that nature in the human beings. Once we get a sign stimulus, maybe if I just finish reading the definition, we can get to it. These patterns are produced by a neural network, that is brain patterns. A neural network known as the innate releasing mechanism in response to external sensory stimuli known as the sign stimulus or release. Like it says, it's Pavlovian. So I think most of you know about Pavlov's dog. All right. The conditioning, operant conditioning, I believe it's called, where ring the bell, give the food, the dog gets the food. Ring the bell, give the food, the dog gets the food. Then ring the bell, no food. Ring the bell, no food, but the dog still salivates. The dog still salivates because the ringing of the bell is connected with what he formerly expected, the presence of food. And so the body is getting ready for the expected food. That's a fixed action pattern, right? So once a signal has been connected with a particular presence of something, then you can stimulate in that animal a certain response because you know that they've been conditioned to expect, ring the bell, here's the food, ring the bell, here's the food. Okay, well, the same thing happens with us, with human beings, on different matters, on all the matters that we can get habituated to. Then we will have these fixed action patterns, these modal action patterns. That's how we are as human beings. And those become our elephant. Those become our history, our habits, and they become our sensibilities, sensitivities. They direct us in terms of what we think is valuable or desirable and the like. So it's very important that you control that, and that not that someone else controls that in you. And also, this fixed action pattern is one of the few types of behaviors which is thought to be hardwired and instinctive. So when Allah says to each is a goal to which he's turning, all right, that's saying what the scientists are speaking of in terms of it being something that's hardwired, something that's instinctive. Then it's saying that this is something that is innate, that is a predisposition, a proclivity that we are born with. We're inclined to it. So 17 chapter 84th verse is where it says Allah says everyone acts according to the way that they've been socialized. That socialization is the formation of these fixed action patterns, the formation of these modal action patterns, the formation of our predisposition. Before we ever know anything consciously, we have already been given a predisposition, a proclivity, an inclination towards something. It's about what we're speaking of right now is about becoming aware of and conscious of and in possession of and in the knowledge of what is my predisposition, what is my proclivity, because inside of that predisposition, inside of that proclivity is God's gift. It's a way of getting to God's gift because you were born with it. And that inclination, that proclivity, fastabiqul khairat, strive after all that is good. We're speaking about those aspirations in us that are good, those aspirations that are socially redeeming, socially beneficial, inclined to add to life, our own and the lives of others in the best possible way. That's what we're talking about when we say you connect with that predisposition, connect with that proclivity, and you are probably connecting with the gift of God that you were born with. And then 71:17 in the Quran, where it says, Inna Allah anbatakum min al-ard nabat, Allah created you growing gradually from the earth like a plant, which means that inside it repeats, but in this metaphorical expression, that everybody's already born with a plan inside of them. That's one of the reasons it's called a plant. It's called a plant because there's a plan in it. The plan is in the plant. And so each one of us being born like a plant, growing like a plant, there is a plan inside of us. And that plan hints to us what it is through our proclivity, our predisposition, our inclinations. All right, so that's why we have to pay attention. We have to look for that. And when we feel that we've discovered it, then that's when you start doing the next bit of the work. So now when you talk about that elephant tracks, it leaves tracks, right? You know, you see the image right there. But it's like that elephant leaves big impressions everywhere. Okay, so it is with our personal history. And like my name, for example, and it's probably the case for most of you who change your name. And that is name formerly, won't charge you, but George Eugene Woods, right? So now you got, so if ever that question comes up on Jeopardy, you got the answer. So that name, when I decided, it's like, okay, which name are you going? Because we're choosing at this point. I actually chose Talib Madyun. So when you get on Jeopardy, you're gonna be rich. I had originally chose Talib Madyun. I won't walk you through all the logic that I was going through and the expression I was going through for that choice, but it didn't last. It didn't last. That is, it wasn't me. I went out there and said, last week we saw you at Juma and your name was so-and-so. Then next week we come in. No, I had made a choice to do it. But before I finalized my choice, I went back to some of the most significant people in my life and asked them about me. That is, excuse me, I just coughed out. Asked them about me, right? Well, what has been the case about me historically? Old counselors, old teachers, of course, mother, father, sister, brother, old friends, etc. Non-Muslim, right? I'm just talking people who grew up with me, knew me, etc., etc. And the aggregate of whatever it was that they said, the meaning of what they were saying is that, okay, well then my name has to be Fahim and it has to be Shuaib. I have to have two names, a first and a last. And it was because those names, those Arabic terms, those Arabic labels, or whatever, Quranic terms, that's what it was. So they talked about you intelligent, learned, understand, you make things clear, blah, blah, blah. These are things that people said, not even knowing what the Arabic, I didn't know what the Arabic word was for. Okay, Same thing with the last name. Wise beyond your years. You seem to know more than you should as young as you are at the time that their time was. I'm in the fourth quarter now, but alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, thank Allah for it. But either way, the point is that what matched up with that was Shu'aib, right? So that became the name, Fahim Shu'aib. What is that? Elephant tracks. That's elephant tracks. Those are elephant tracks. What? Your personal history. So one of the ways to discover yourself, if you haven't already done so, you need to talk to somebody who have known you all your life, who have been able to be like a mirror reflecting on you for those years, seeing you in your unconscious moments, seeing you in your unguarded moments, seeing you in your quote unquote state of psychological undress, to be able to say, well, this you always this way, and you're always that way, and you've always been this, and you've always been that. That is that is one of the ways of discovering your elephant tracks, because that predisposition, that proclivity, which is the heaviest part of you, has been leaving tracks all your life. So you need to look back at your own life. There's actually an app online, whatever, to that you can do self-discovery. Sorry, I don't have the label. But all you got to do is like how to write your own autobiography. Look at that. Look at that in some way. And I will tell you, the one that is associated with Dr. Jordan Peterson is the one that I'm really trying to refer to. So the point is, it gives you a format by which you can get a greater sense of who you actually are. Because this is the thing. You find your gift by finding your proclivity, right? And your proclivity is what you have been born with and what you have been socialized into. And therefore, that is what accounts for your general disposition, your general viewpoint, your general set, emotional set, your general disposition, as it says according to the Quran. All right. So the point is, the power is with your elephant, and you need to know what your elephant is doing, has been doing, where it's going, because that is where your power is, and that's where your gift is, being able to understand and make the right connection between the way that you are inclined and what you are trying to design as a life for yourself going forward. Sometimes things don't work because there's a conflict between who you really are, and that's what I was hearing in what Haji Camila was saying earlier. You know what I'm saying? You're going after one thing, but that's not really you. If that's not right, you're not gonna have the strength. You're not gonna have the energy. You're not gonna have the commitment. You're not gonna have the spirit, which is, I could go long on the spirit is your values, your expectation, your disposition. You won't have the right values. You won't have the right expectation. You won't have the right disposition for that thing. That's why you quit. That's why you quit. But let's move on. So the point is that you need to know what it is so that you will be able to, you make sure you're riding on the right horse. I know I'm switching animals, but they come up in a minute too, inshallah. So your elephant tracks are your personal history, your personal proclivities, which are clues to your gift. So you need to check your personal history, go back, assess, review. What has been there? What has been the inclination? What is the most socially redeeming aspect of it? What is it that you've always enjoyed doing? What is it that you enjoy doing so much you're willing to do it for free, but you do it so well people are willing to pay you for it? If you haven't found the pay part, at least find the part that you enjoy doing and you've always enjoyed doing it. Well, that thing that is an avocation, hobby, can become a vocation. Just separate the two. Avocation, then separate it. A vocation. Make your avocation a vocation, and that is how you translate your proclivity, your natural gift, and your natural inclination to a source of self-support. And let me go ahead and say this as well as we go on. Excuse me. Listen. Your Lord, cherisher, and sustainer who created you and who gave you this, whether you've discovered it or not, you do have a gift from God. Whether you discover it or not, do not. If you say it, then you're wrong. Well, God ain't gave me that. No, he has. You just haven't discovered. God doesn't send anybody here empty. All right? Empty-handed, maybe I should say. So no, he's giving you something, but you have to discover it. And maybe if you might find something and you're kind of torn because it's not high tech, or it's not basketball, football, or entertainment oriented, or what have you. It might say, I ain't gonna make no money. No, you don't worry about the money side of that. I'm just telling you, ultimately, don't worry about the money side. Don't worry about the money side, all right? Well, your natural life is going to tell you, man, I need to make some money so I can pay the rent, pay the mortgage, eat, drive a car, whatever. Okay, so just don't get that twisted. You understand what I'm saying? Don't worry. Your natural body's going to say, man, you better get something. You better work somewhere. Okay, but that's my day job, let's call it. So what I'm saying, when I say that, I want you to be real clear on that, because the point is, if you start working, and when you start working with that gift that Allah has birthed you with, then God's going to pay you. Allahu Akbar. God's going to pay you. God's going to pay you. You do what you were created to do. It's the thing. Find out what's your proclivity, what's your inclination, what were you created to do. If you really discover it, I got just one more slide, I think, and we'll be right where I want to be. We are where we want to be now, but I need to amplify this. If you discover that gift that God gave you, and you respond to it as a gift from God, and you strive for the excellence of it, then God is going to pay you, because you're doing what he created you to do. You're doing the job. It's like, you're doing the job, sir. It's like, who's the paymaster? Allah. Allah's the paymaster. Who you work for? You work for God. And now, any gift that God gave you is a good gift that serves his plan. See? So it's like, that's another thing you got to check before you pull out real hard. It's like, okay, well, how does this serve the plan of Allah? How is this serving the plan of Allah? How is this? And the serve, understand this, it's really very simple. The service to Allah is service to people. The service to Allah is the service of people. Third time. The service to Allah is service to people. And the Prophet underscored that by saying, the best among the best among you is the one who is most useful to people. So any gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, you will know that it is a gift from him because it's useful to people. So if you have you say, yeah, I got my gift. I don't nobody need that. So no. Whatever God has given you is it's useful in the 21st century to people in the 21st century. All right. So the point is that when you do it, that's one of the ways also that it's useful to people. And that's the nature of business. That is, whatever it is that you're doing, it's got to be a solution to somebody's problem. And people have a lot of needs beyond technical needs, et cetera, et cetera. And I think this is why, the coaching business seems to be blowing to outer space, because people wanting to be mentored into how to do it. And that fits right into the BLISS that I speak of, because that's institutionalization. So let's look at this. So the BLISS, which is believe, locate, institutionalize, specialize, and then you'll be successful. So when we're talking about what we're talking about now is find the gift, i.e. locate the gift. Next thing is to institutionalize it. What does it mean? It means to operationalize it. That is, put what you've discovered to work. Put what you've discovered under the proper discipline. All right? Find the right harness. Now, the harness is the plan for your urges and impulses. What are your urges and impulses? Your urges and impulses are your natural proclivities. Your urges and impulses are those things that are driving you with the pleasure-seeking aspect of that thing that you discovered as your proclivity. You enjoy doing it. Okay, tennis, boxing. I'm just using some obvious examples. Tennis, boxing, chess, other talents and abilities, right? So you have the urge, you have the impulse, you have a positive attitude about it. You love to do, you feel interrupted when you got to do other normal everyday stuff, right? Well, if you really feel that, oh man, if you're feeling that way when you're being pulled away from it, that may be your gift. But in reality, in reality, this is what reality is. You have to learn how to balance normal everyday life responsibility, especially if you're married, especially if you have children. You have to balance that urge, impulse, appetite, desire, pleasure that comes from doing that thing. You have to balance it with the mundane, everyday human responsibilities. You just got to learn how to do both. It can be done. It is being done. So don't make that mistake, or you'll never really succeed. And even if you succeed in doing that, having cut yourself off from all the important relationships, don't nobody care, because that's a failure. All right. So the idea is you got to know how to do both. That's what life is. It's all about a balance. Right. So finding the right plan is finding the right harness for your urges and impulses, because it is your urges and impulses that are going to get you where you want to go. Those are those two horses, right? You have to harness your goals to the right two horses, and you got to have two. I know we have the model of the rider and the elephant, but this is just another metaphor of saying the same thing. The point is, there's somebody that is guiding the energy that the rider depends on. Right. So this speaks to, and now we mentioned goal setting. Goal setting. If you once you find out, here's my talent, here's my ability. Okay, I have to institutionalize it. Okay, a part of institutionalization of it is to write the right plan for the positive exploitation of your natural urges and impulses. That's your harness. You have the urges, you have the impulses, so therefore you have the drive, you have the energy, you have the engine. Now you got to put that engine into an automobile, into a vehicle. The plan is the vehicle. The plan is the vehicle, and your energy and your impulse inside that plan, now you can go somewhere, okay? So you have to believe, you have to locate, that's the B and L, and then you have to harness your goals to the right two horses. Now, who are the two horses? And alhamdulillah, we took the image and found the image of a black and a white horse. And that's just to reflect the fact that there's a positive and there's a negative dimension to well-formed goals. Well-formed goals have positive and they also have the negative. Firstly, I've somewhat expressed the first part of it. Why is this goal important? When I ask you to be sure that you know how your gift, your talent serves Allah's plan. And Allah's plan is to serve people. So you ask yourself, how does this developed talent, urge, impulse, etc., proclivity, predisposition, etc., how does it serve people? That's what you can ask, is how does it serve people? How does it benefit people? All right. Now, to develop the formal plan, then you have to say to yourself and be clear within yourself, purely, what will accomplishing this goal do for my life? You need to know that. What will accomplishing this goal do for my life? Right? So that's the positive. So that's one of the horses. And then what will happen if I don't accomplish this goal? That's the negative side. So you're being negatively motivated towards the goal because you don't want to fail. You're being positively motivated toward the goal because you're succeeding. So the horses are not working against each other. The horses are working with each other because inside of your plan is the positive and the negative, and they both provide an energy to move. One horse is moving away from failure, and the other horse is moving towards success. And that is the energy that is driving your vehicle, right? Now, here's a picture. When your goals are true to who you truly believe you are. Remember, 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 primary to everything I'm saying is that you have to believe. People talk about believe in me. I got to believe in myself. I got to believe in me. A good statement. That's fine. It's fine. But no. Who is the you that you're believing in? Who is the me that you say I have to believe in? Who is that? Do you know who that is? See? The first thing you have to know is who you really are. Right? And a lot, and all this conversation we're having about proclivity and predisposition, etc., which I'm saying to discover that is to discover the true you. It's to discover. I said that, man, that ain't you. You've heard that before. That ain't you. No, that's me. Now, that's from a fashion perspective as in my thinking. But I'm saying also there is a you that you know is you, right? Whatever. I hope you can say the same thing. I mean, I am Fahim Shoaib. I am Fahim. When I say Fahim Shoaib, I know what I'm talking about. I'm not just talking biology. I'm talking character, personality, etc., etc. I'm saying I know him, and that's who I am, right? So you have to be able to say the same about yourself, and you have to have some sense of your proclivity, your predisposition, some sense of what did God send you here into creation with. I have a sense of that, and of course, you're experiencing a sense of that right now, and some of you've been experiencing that for some years now, as I have. So it's like I feel very comfortable. I am doing what Allah created me to do. Right? I'm not finished. He ain't finished with me, and I'm not finished giving. I pray I'm not, because what happens when you're done, you're done. Time to wrap it up. I know you heard me. So it's not until you're done, Allah is not done with you, and you're not done with your service to Allah. So you do it until you die. Right. So once you discover it, once you're in touch with that, and if you truly believe that is you, right, that and you have goals around who you truly believe you are. Remember, you can set some good, perfect, clear goals, simple goals, whatever the paradigm is. You can do it, but if it's not you, it ain't gonna work. Anyway, let's get past this. So look at the imagery here. You have left brain, right brain harmony on an idea. So it's like when the logical side and when the creative side, let's call it, I'm just trying to move past, when they say, okay, boom, I see the forest and I see the trees. All right. I see the big picture, I see the universal, and I see the particular as it relates to this, etc. So, and the plan that I have built incorporates that aspect for what I believe is truly me and my gift, etc. When you have that left brain, right brain harmony on an idea, and you form out of that a plan that you truly believe to be capable of achieving the goal. See, you can make a plan, but if you don't believe in the plan, well, what good is the plan, right? And the best plan is a plan that's made that is true to who you believe you are. Now, if I say, hey, I'm going to get into the NBA, man. I'm going to start going to the gym tomorrow. Me. You're going to get in the NBA and I'll start going to the gym tomorrow. Come on now. You don't believe that. You didn't believe that 50 years ago, right? So the point is that, but trust me, brothers and sisters, there's a brother that I see, whenever I see him on regular, he's going to always tell me some lie about some tech mogul that he just, and he's serious. Some tech mogul that he just talked to, and a friend that's working on an IPO, and it's going to be, and we're going to really take care of the mess here. And he's serious, right? That's like, I just always expected. I just say, Alhamdulillah, your may Allah bless you, etc. So now I know that's extreme. Both you and I know, homie, he ain't playing with a full deck. MashaAllah, I'm just telling you, it's just the truth, right? because I know some people know who I'm talking about. Hey, then you know who I'm talking about then. So the point is that in the context of reality, that reality, we're going to be a few minutes over, brother and sister. Well, it's your life. You spend your time where you must. In any case, because I hear the announcement about time for Blog Talk. But the point that I'm saying is that if you don't believe in if you believe in yourself, quote unquote, and if you don't have a plan that lines up with who you are, well, it's a bad plan, right? But if you've taken the steps that I've talked about, you believe that you have this gift, you've located that gift, and now you're trying to develop the right harness, the right plan, the right goal for that particular gift so that you can institutionalize it and it can be useful to your own progress, your own development, your own accomplishment, and service to people, primarily service to people first, because that, if it doesn't serve people, it's not going anywhere either. But in any case, the point is that when you find that agreement, that right brain, left brain harmony, that whole brain harmony, that plan, and you truly believe in it, believing that, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can accomplish this. Yes, this plan will get me to that goal. That is conceptualization. That's you have conceived of a plan, and you are now in your consciousness, you are pregnant. You're pregnant in your consciousness. If you achieve what I'm talking to you about, you're pregnant. Okay? You're pregnant in your personal consciousness, and gestation has begun. And you will feel that in your head, in your heart. You will feel that. This adopted quote from Why God Won't Go Away. It says, if a plan can unify logic and intuition, right? I want you to think about it. I want you to look at these histories. I mean, look. Elon Musk, mashallah, it is what it is. Elon Musk, he's just a model for what I'm talking about. Mark Zuckerberg is a model. Steve Jobs is a model for what I'm talking about, right? Warren Buffett, we're talking dollars and cents, and others. You choose whoever you want to say that. You know, it's like their history will show you that Jeff Bezos, they will show you that there was a point in time that they had this kind of epiphany about what it is that they're in. It's like they got to that whole brain harmony situation, say, this is me, this is what I can do, this will work, and I don't care who don't believe it. It doesn't matter that you don't believe it. I believe it. And I have reason to believe that this will get to where I'm talking about going. See, that's where you have to be willing to take that step out there when everybody else is saying, man, he lost it. Well, are you them or are they you? Okay, let's move on. So it says that if a plan can unify logic and intuition and lead to a state of left brain, right brain agreement or whole brain harmony, then neurological uncertainties are powerfully alleviated. Here's the thing. Are you doubtless about your plan? Are you doubtless about your gift? You understand what I'm saying? Okay, when you say, okay, my plan is to do this and my plan is to do that. Okay, question. Do you have any doubts about you? Or do you have any doubts about your plan? Okay, well, you have to get those things straight until you become doubtless. It's right. And another way of saying it, where you become indifferent to doubt about it. Listen, it's just like you going down the, I started to say the child line. We had a wonderful event this past weekend for returning citizens, right? So you had child line, which is at the buffet, right? You're going down the buffet line in the public operation, buffet line, and you say, okay, there's the pork chop. They got the pork chops there. They got this, that, and that. What you doing in that restaurant? Come on, man. This is my illustration. So I got the pork chop. Okay, when you get to the pork chop tray, you don't say, you don't stop it. No, I hope not. It's like it ain't even there. It's like it's not even. It's like, come on, let's move on, right? So, likewise, when it comes to you and your capability, your interest, your proclivity, your plan to realize the fullness of that gift, are you doubtless? Because if you're not doubtless, then you haven't reached that whole brain harmony. You still have some uncertainties that need to be alleviated. You have to reach what the state that is called yaqeen. This yaqeen, you have to come to this point of conviction, right? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we're almost done. Prophet Muhammad said, they can put the sun in my right hand, the moon in my left. I will never give up this mission until it's accomplished or I die in the effort, right? So that's how we got to be about whatever goal it is that we're talking about, because that also feels like a glimpse of ultimate truth. If you know you got the right one, it feels like revelation. It feels, okay, that's it. This is what I'm doing. Except it doesn't matter what anybody else says, with all due respect for them and their perception, because they're standing on the outside of me. They're not standing on the inside of me. They're on the outside of you. They're not inside of you. You have to be willing to move on. And that gestation period is the time and effort that you have to spend working on the plan. You're pregnant? Okay. Now you got to go through the pregnancy. And of course, the last and biggest is the labor, right? But it's all of it's labor. But the period of time, and some things take longer to gestate than others. Not going to necessarily mean you're going to get that $1 million thing, in 9 months. No, that's physiology. The bigger the thing it is you're seeking to accomplish, then sometimes the longer it's going to take, depends on whatever it is. If you have certain right technology to leverage it, maybe some things can happen faster. But you get the point. The point is that the gestation period is whatever time and effort that is spent on working on the plan that you have no doubt about, with that conviction, until the concept becomes a reality. You do that, and inshallah, you will be where you want to be. Alhamdulillah, I'm going to call Camila Shuaib back into the room, as she says, and we'll be ready to go. Let's see here.
Assalamu alaikum.
There you go.
So it looks like Shaitan has entered the room.
You're still muted? Let me see. Why can't I?
Okay, there you go. I said, there, it's there.
All right, good.
I had muted it on my phone. I said it looks like Shaitan has entered the room. So we got to figure out how we can block the craziness.
You know what? Alhamdulillah, it's wonderful. You know what? I'm saying wonderful because let's see. Okay, block the user, whatever. So, you know what I did? I closed the chat because I don't like to look at the screen. I don't like to look at
same thing. I do the same thing.
Checked in or what have you, because I don't want to be distracted by that. So that was my first seeing it, right? So exactly. Why would not Shaitan want to stop that flow? Why wouldn't he? Right. So we have to take it as an honor. Just like you see this weekend when you were down in Jack London Square, one of the big hot spots for Oakland for as far as tourism and the like. Yeah. So you were down there working, and somebody recognized you from this broadcast, right?
Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
So that means that reach is being had, right? And so it's like, so Shaitan say, hey, We can't have them reaching all these people with that. That's going to be too much competition. We'll keep these slaves,
Right.
keep
Because
these
this
slaves
work still
bent
gonna keep
down,
on
right?
going.
We don't want
That's
don't want
right.
anybody looking up.
Right.
All right, let's get out of here.
That's
Go ahead.
right.
What you got, sweetie? We're gonna be we
You
gone.
know, it is, you know, I there's a lot I can say, but what I am going to say in just this, I am grateful for, because you and I have had that bliss conversation ages ago, decades ago.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I have lived my life in accordance to that, as far as the seeking, the searching, right? And even like now in this era of being in my 40s, because it's like when you hit 40, like you really do, if you've been on the journey up until you get, it's like it drops down, like, oh, you connect all of the dots. And this understanding of that, you can get to this level of joy and gratitude even through the challenges leading up to that moment, right? Like those things had to happen, those moments had to happen. And so I'm grateful that Allah inspired in your heart to formulate, to create a formula for this understanding, because sometimes we will know a thing, but very few have the ability to create a formula that makes it palatable, or gives us a way to understand and make it what is the term that you say, where you make, to simplify it, right? You
Yeah,
know,
make it,
so
yeah.
finding a way to do that is a blessing. So you're definitely a gift. That is something that could save us a whole lot of time, effort, and energy to better understand that system that you've shared with us.
Alhamdulillah. And there's more. There's more to come. I mean, I don't know, something work out. It must have been. You know how this wound up being what it is today, because our connection this
Yes.
morning. So this is Allah's plan. So, alhamdulillah, we just have to sit back and stay tuned to what Allah has
Yes.
next. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for checking in. God's peace be on you, and till the next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.